Hello, and welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans come to congregate and fanboys they fear and dread. Hello, guys. What's going on? As I said, the Aprilia just got Bike of the Year for best in class for Superbike. The little company's doing well. It's glad to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
Happy days. Well,
they sure as hell ain't getting happy days in MotoGP, so they gotta get a break somewhere along the line.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost one. But yeah, I was about to say that. Where's the translation? Where's the translation into MotoGP for Aprilia?
What do you mean?
What's going on? I want to see them. Well, the test. I'll let Mac dive into it, but the test looked well for Aprilia.
I don't think it did. I don't think it did. You know, like Bezzecchi, like on a race weekend, he just can't seem to dial it in time. Do you know what I mean? That's what kind of feels to me about the Aprilia. Like the test on Jerez for me was a little bit of a bogus test, really, right? And here's why, right? For Yamaha, testing on a Monday after a Grand Prix is false testing, really, because they have a thing with grip, right? And it didn't rain overnight on Sunday night. The rubber was there from the Grand Prix. The track was in prime fucking condition to do a test, right? So all of their problems masked. Same with same with Everest. So like seeing someone go fastest or faster than they went in the Grand Prix weekend was nothing really for me. Like it was what I would class as expected, right? Because track evolution of one more day, you need to have it. Yes, there was a few people out there going glory laps, which is fine. There was other people out there and they weren't pushing it; they were testing. So for me, like Aprilia, they didn't shine. You know, very very few manufacturers actually shined. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it was kind of a nothing test. Really, it was more of a functional test, really. But I didn't see. How would I say? I didn't see what I thought I would see. If people get me, I thought I would see. I thought I would see people, some radical designs coming out and this, that, and the other, and I didn't see it. You know, yeah, we saw Aprilia with the new rear wing, we saw Yamaha with the new rear wing and the side wing, but it was nothing major. Like you couldn't even do a video on it. Like, do you know what I mean? Everything that people were doing seemed to be electronic or engine related, really, in my point of view. So the test was. Not as hyped as I thought it was going to be. I thought we would see an awful lot more, but we didn't.
So, are there any real improvements then? I know you mentioned Yamaha with the engine.
Yeah, so like the Yamaha riders all seem pretty happy with the inline 4 update.
A little too late for that, huh?
Yeah, but look, I think it's more of a tweak than anything major. Now, the only thing, all right, Jack Miller did let slip was that he's going to get the new engine homologated for the race. So that does kind of give you an inkling that there is different parts within that engine, if it has to be re-homologated again. So it is, for me, it is a little bit interesting. The other thing that I was really, really kind of looking at, and like looking at the teams championships, right? Which is kind of where we want to look at, and I want to kind of compare it, I suppose, to last year. Where is it? I was looking at it the other day. World standings, is it? Or no, it is. Where were Yamaha this time last year? Compared to this year, do you know what I mean? Right. Because look, that's where we're aiming for. Like you look at the concessions, right? I think is it like 35% of the points. If Yamaha have scored more than 35% of the points that were on offer up to the halfway point of the season, they could move from band D in the concessions to band C, which doesn't allow them, which doesn't allow them to have free engine development. Does that make sense?
Right.
Mm-hmm. They may be close though. I don't think they were below. They were like kind of mid, right?
Yeah, but remember, it's looked at mid-season every year, the concession band, and at the end of the year. So, if you're going forward in the middle of by the middle of the season, do you move out of it? Now, what that would do, so there's two things. They either bring that V4.
Yeah, but when did they judge? We were talking about that for mid-season. When did they judge it where they would lose their
mid-season? So summer break. After summer break, I believe.
Okay, then that's when they judge it. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So realistically, if there's if they kind of have to do a for real calculation now or estimate of are they going to get there or are they not going to get there? Do you know what I mean? If there's a threat of it, they can't introduce the V4. They can't. Because if the motherfucking thing blows up and keeps blowing up, they're learning nothing. Do you know? Because they can't change it. So does that push that out?
So do they need to? It almost sounds like they need to be testing this thing now, like rigorous testing.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it in Aragon, if I'm honest, with Augusto Fernandez.
Because it's like the longer you wait, why even bring it out? If you're gonna wait, or I don't know the regulations within the ins and out of it, but the longer you wait, you might as well just not even bring it out.
Well, yes and no. Like right now, it actually, I would be. Look, okay, it's probably not there on performance yet. I would think on performance, right? It's probably somewhere just a little bit faster than a Moto 2, right? Because they don't have the electronics all dialed in and all of this stuff and getting everything down there, right? And so I would think it's probably in around Moto 2 spec right now, time-wise. And look, I don't think they've ran it anywhere near where it needs to be, if you get me. So there is still a bit to go in it. But again,
now it's like I'm leaning on the lines of Jake of because of concessions, they don't have to. They necessarily really don't even have to develop the V4 because they're putting so much into the inline that eventually they'll catch up. They don't have to develop a V4.
Nah, the inline 4 does have it's hitting a wall. Yeah, the inline 4. Well, and maybe if it's 800cc, maybe it won't. Man, I mean, maybe it won't have enough power to twist that crank. You know what I mean, or make everything flex. You know, you're right on that case. But how do you know? That's really throwing the dice in that one. That's a bit too much risk in my book.
Okay, 1 second. I'm just doing a calculation there.
We'll just have to see if the motor kept blowing. If we kept seeing like a Bulaga issue, like where the motor, whatever, they're having issues, and they'll be Jack had a little issue, but if they were having a lot of like electrical and motor issues, then I would say yeah, but they might as well just stick with their guns, and just plug away. I don't know, like just.
Yeah, so 1 second. I'm just.
Yeah, they got it. CB, they got to go with the V4. Yeah. I
think they have. Okay. Right. So currently, if I'm not wrong, which I could be, but I don't think I am. Currently, the constructor standings are 185 points is Ducati, right?
Right.
Next up is Yamaha, 62, KTM, 58, Honda, 56, and Aprilia, 53. Okay? Now, you'll fucking laugh at this. Yamaha, who is the highest outside of Ducati, has scored 33% of points scored, which puts them in Class D.
Okay.
Which means every other manufacturer outside of Ducati is now in, technically, if we stopped midpoint now,
right,
they would all be Class D, all get concessions. Full concessions. Now that just shows you
how screwed up it is.
No, how much Aprilia and KTM have fallen back. Right? And how much Honda and then I wonder, can I get around this time of last year's constructors?
Well, Aprilia just hasn't been running. I mean, they're missing a guy. They're missing their best rider, and they're going with a rookie and a guy that's really not stepping up to the plate the way he should.
They're a rough patch.
Yeah, they have a rider problem.
Yeah, they do have a rider problem, big time.
And we don't really know how good the Aprilia is.
Technically, we don't. Look, we haven't seen it. You're right. Like, we haven't really seen the everyone in anger yet. You know.
They might as well replace Jorge Martin for the year. Allow him to get back at 100% or close to 100%, and just focus on that.
Yeah, but now just to give you just a flavor, right, of last year's Constructors Championships, right? Ducati, 722 points. Okay. KTM, 327. Aprilia, 302. Yamaha, 124. And Honda, 75. So for me, when I'm looking at it, right, if I look at today's World Championship,
right,
you know, Yamaha and Honda have come on leaps and bounds compared to the other. And I know there is the Jorge Martin issue with Aprilia, but it just shows you they're all in around the same.
Yeah,
right. Everyone after Ducati.
Figures don't lie, but liars figure. Has the Honda and the Yamaha really got that much better?
Well, Honda nearly have more points now than they had for the whole season last year.
Okay, well, that's like I said, but that's half of that. A lot of that is from taken away from Aprilia because they have no riders. Okay, so
no, like I disagree with you there on that. Right, they're missing one rider, right? Who probably would have been so maybe take off 5 points off their. Maybe 6 points off of their total. Like, if Mir actually stayed on the fucking bike, they would be a lot further ahead, right?
Yeah, but Mir might balance it out because Price he's been bouncing off the off the pavement.
But again, look, he's in the skinny places when he's crashing, right? So I have absolutely no problem with that. I would prefer to see him in contention rather than backwards and staying on and scoring 1 or 2 points. Do you know what I mean? It means fuck all, like, you know.
And you're seeing we're seeing Zarco in a good position near
life.
Yeah, but he's up there though. He's up there. He's competing.
He's competing, but look, he's not a top 3 guy.
No. I'm just saying the Honda development is they're doing something.
They are doing something right, and it's like it is important to call it out that they are. How long will that last? When will they switch focus completely to the 2027 bike? Which, look, lads, to be fair, like I see very, very, very little development coming for 2026. I think we're only going to see a small bit of development for 25. Very little for 26 is all geared towards 27. Right. My humble opinion, right? So there is a lot of focus right now.
For 26 is like throwing money out the window.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm saying for Yamaha that they need to get that V4 on the track now, but as soon as possible. And look, yeah, the what's his name? I can't think of the new principal for Yamaha, and he was like, "Yeah, we'll get it on with as soon as possible with Augusto once it's ready." But again, look, it's a major.
By the way, what was the Jerez and the Jerez? And they said the Honda didn't do well.
The engine, it did. Yeah, so Pooch came out and just said that they didn't see on track what they saw on the dyno, right? But again, you don't ever use Jerez as an engine test circuit. You know what I mean? You're not.
Well, so short. Yeah.
Like you go from second to fifth gear on the front straight. You're not stretching that puppy's legs into full acceleration zones. You know what I mean? So it's not really going to see thing. And all he said was that it didn't correlate to what they saw on the dyno versus what they saw in real time. Now, also, it is interesting to see not all riders got to test that new engine. Marini didn't, and I was starting to wonder. Is this Honda with Marini? Is he becoming the unfavored son in Honda? I really start to think that now. His compared to Zarco, and then he's not really in it. And I think Pooch has a lot of time for Mir. So I think even if they are getting one new rider. But saying that, look, it's highly likely now that who did I hear was going to in World Supers.
Oh yeah, Top Rack,
Top Rack to Honda for 1 year until the Pirellis come in. But there was another person. I need to just look at the lineup.
Not Pedro. Oh, you said from World Superbike.
Yeah, it's Andrea Iannone are apparently going to be the World Superbike team next year for Honda. Yeah, and it kind of makes sense if it does happen. I think I said this last week that
I'm surprised because Iannone has not set the world on fire.
He hasn't, but he has been towards the middle of the pack. Well, sorry, the top 10. He has been in there. Do you know what I mean? He duffed the Super Pole race start this morning. I saw, but he has.
So you're saying Iannone is going to Honda?
Yeah, 1 year deal with Top Rack in World Superbike, and then on to the MotoGP.
Okay, so Top Rack. You saying Top Rack is moving to Honda?
I would think so. Yeah. For 27.
That's a real odd situation, though, isn't it? Have go 1 year with Superbike and then go into MotoGP.
It is, but if you think about it this way, right? Top Rack would have to go there to MotoGP next year, just say, right? He'd have to learn the Michelin tires,
right?
Which he's never ridden on before or raced on. And then he'd have to come back then the following year back to Pirelli. So he'd have to unlearn everything that he learned to go to Pirelli.
I think Pirelli will do well in MotoGP.
Yeah. Now, what I can see happening is that next year Top Rack would be doing the tests for Honda on the Pirelli rubber. I can see that happening.
Might as well.
Because that's the thing, and obviously they're going to run. Sorry, Pirelli.
You know that?
I'm exhausted from my spin earlier on my bike. What is it? So Pirelli are doing a test in Aragon. Has to be after the Aragon Grand Prix, lads, and the test. So will it be the Tuesday after it? I don't know. They're testing the Monday after the Aragon race, so is it going to be the Tuesday? Don't know. But basically, they're going to run. My understanding is with the current aero, just no ride height. devices, so no lowering devices of any kind, just to gather some data. I would think there's going to be another test at another time as well, maybe after Valencia or something like that. Because
that would be good to see, like Top Rack, Honda, Marc Marquez, Ducati, like just that would be a good battle. I would love to see something like that.
Yeah. Look,
Top Rack's going to be fighting it. You know what I mean? That's kind of unfair though, because Marquez is on the Ducati and Top Rack's starting new and being on a Honda.
Yeah. No. Look, that won't happen this year. That will be 26, right, as I mentioned, right? Like he's in a BMW contract. BMW are not going to let him test. They're not.
No, that's not going to happen.
So look, that's what the major rumor is, but we wait and see. But yeah, look, it's been. I always say this about MotoGP. If you're going onto the sites and you read the likes of Crash putting in quotes from Gavin Emmett or Neil Hodgkinson or what all of this, it's a really slow week in what's going on, right, Joe? That they're using pundits. But yeah, I find it pretty interesting. I find it pretty interesting, like that there was no major radical updates from the test. If you get me, it all seemed quite hidden. Let's just call it all the parts are hidden. Normally, like you'll see it. Also, I suppose this week we do have Le Mans coming up. We also have the Northwest 200. That I will show you where you can stream it live, or you can listen to it live on this channel. I will be getting it going, but cool. Look, I just want to wish everyone competing there. I want to make sure I wish them, Joe, best and safe to luck, Godspeed, and enjoy it. It's some place. It's definitely one of the places you need to visit in your lifetime. Just to get the rush, like 20 odd bikes blasting past you, 200 fucking miles an hour, millimeters from each other. Do you know what I mean? Ultimate respect.
Balls of brass.
It's the definition of balls. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? 200 miles an hour, slipstreaming each other. Anyway, yeah. So if you're into it, if you're around Northern Ireland, definitely try and get over to it. It is just fascinating to watch. But we have Le Mans this weekend as well. So motorsport weekend next weekend, everyone. Which Le Mans is one of those weird tracks. Mark should go well there. Fabio should go well there. Not sure about Zarco. Zarco should go okay, but it'll be interesting to see how the Honda navigates it. But I must admit, Le Mans is not one of my favorite ones. Jordan, just kind of like, let's get through this race. And it's also followed by another one of my not so favorite ones, which is the British Grand Prix in Silverstone, where you're a mile and a half back from.
Yeah, well, you don't like it as a spectator, right? But as a somebody watching it on TV, it's nice. I like it.
Yeah. Although I am going to try and get there.
I
am going to try and get there on the Saturday if I can to Silverstone. I'll let people know if
you are so lucky, man. I swear to God.
Huh? Yeah.
You are so lucky.
Let's see if the tickets come through. If the tickets come through, I'll do it, and if they don't, I won't. But yeah, look, it would be nice to get one. It's been a while. But obviously I can't stay the full weekend, so I would only have to go in on the Saturday. I really want to see a sprint race, by the way. And no, people, I will not throw anything at Marc Marquez, just in case people are saying that I always hate him and I don't want him to win. I won't.
Two things. How can you hate somebody for being very good at what they do, at being a professional, and being the best of the best? Or how can you hate a manufacturer for being the best and being gotten the fastest best bike?
Yeah, but people, yeah, but let's put it this way, Jake. If you act the bollocks, I'll call you a bollocks. No matter how good or how bad you are. And people don't like the fact that I talk my opinion and truth of what I believe. And
We've always respected his talents, though.
Yeah.
You
just don't like some of the shit he's done. Right. And I call it as I see it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And if Pecco does a bollocks of a move, I'll call Pecco a bollocks.
Yeah. I'm a Marquez fan, but I do not like towing. I mean, when he towed, I was like all over. Like, don't. That's bullshit. You know.
But look, it is one of those things, right? Again, you know, look, he is he is definitely one of the greatest. I don't know whether he is the greatest, and I don't like getting into fights about the greatest because, like, Giacomo Agostini was the greatest in his day. Put him next to Rossi in a modern bike, and he probably couldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? And it's all different eras and different times of their lives and all of this. And you know, you look at it and you're like,
I can tell you one thing you can't say. He is definitely the fastest, followed by Freddie Spencer.
I would class Casey Stoner as probably the rider that I've seen with the most raw speed ever. And I'm not a fan of Casey.
Marquez.
Casey can go out in lap one and bang. Mark can't. Mark takes 2 or 3 laps compared to Casey.
Oh, well, you're saying he can get up to speed quickly. I'm saying
that's raw speed because he's going out there and he's going, okay, bang.
No, I'm saying who can get the lowest lap time. Like if they both went out and who had the lowest.
But again, it's generational now. Like you're asking K, like, and this is where I always get into it, right? Like you look at Formula One and you have the Fangios and Jackie Stewart and all of these ones, and you have Schumacher, Senna, Hamilton. You know, they're all goats of their era. Do you know what I mean? That's it's the same for me in MotoGP. Like you can't turn around and say for a fella who used to drive a front wheel or a forward engine mounted car, right, compared to a fella that drives a rear engine mounted car. You know, this guy was world champion in a front engine car. Do you know what I mean? This guy was world champion in a rear engine. So it's completely different driving styles and whatnot. And I can guarantee you the guy that was trying to convert one way or the other would struggle. Do you know what I mean? Because that was just the style of the air. Like
you say that, but everybody says, "Oh, Doohan, he had five titles, and how good Doohan was." Okay,
but he was the best of his era.
Yeah, well, of his era, right? But Kenny Roberts, every time he went against Kenny Roberts, blew him away by over a second every time they ran. Kick his ass in the heartbeat.
But how many times in those 5 world championships was Kenny there?
No, he wasn't. He was retired, but he could actually get off his ass in retirement, and he did the same thing to Wayne Rainey and Lawson. He was the manager, and they said you got to stop making the guys look bad because he would jump on the bike and beat him. You know,
I know, but what I'm kind of putting to Jake is that you could never get everyone to have the same riding style to go on the same bike through generational errors and say this person was the best. For example, because Mark could get into a bike that's completely rear bias, can't ride it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Couldn't ride it. Couldn't go as fast as he wanted to because he'd have to completely change his style. Yeah. Same way around with the 500 riders. They probably couldn't ride a MotoGP bike properly.
They weren't used to it.
Yeah. And you look, like, for example, you look at how the lads nowadays are so far over that front axle going through the corners. So as you can see, when they lean over, head forward,
and by the way,
shoulders down, where the lads used to on the 500s, they used to touch maybe their arse cheek. Do you know what I mean? It's completely.
Casey Stoner wrote an article saying that he was running with the same bike, exact same bike, a Honda 4-stroke new bike, and could not catch Freddie Spencer.
Okay, so Jake, what you're putting in here then, though, is you're putting into a fella, right? Like, yes, a road bike around the track. He's never going to fucking push it to his 110 tenths. If he's still in the riding championship, never going to do it.
No, he was doing a testing, or still wasn't even riding the championship, or he was just.
I know what you mean, but like it's like getting out of a race go-kart and getting into one of those arrive and drive ones inside there. You're not going to take it too seriously. Do you know what I mean? Yes, he was trying to catch the man in front of him, but he was going to take no risks. Fuck that. Do you know what I mean? If he's still being paid to ride and then he falls off one of these fucking things, it's like, huh, there you go, dickhead. But I get what you mean. Like he was complimenting what he was saying, what the fella was doing. What was it? What was his name again?
Catch him. And Wayne Rooney said, or Wayne Gardner said, I couldn't catch him my whole career. Don't feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah. 1 second there. 1 second. 1 second. You keep chatting away there.
Mm-hmm. No, he had that same weird style as Marquez does, and Kenny Roberts Sr. There are only three guys that had the same style.
I was gonna say Marquez, man. I don't know about. Well, maybe I'm just thinking about now, but the raw speed. I don't know. It just seems like now he's just battling with people, like you saying, like the diving, all that stuff he's doing, bash passing.
He's been doing it so far this year, okay, but he has done it like last couple of years.
Yeah. I feel like he'll do it in a heartbeat. I don't think that's his go-to, but I feel like he will do it. Like if he needs to.
I wouldn't put it past him. It's not like he's cured. No, I don't think so.
The towing too. I've seen a little. Well, I've kind of seen it from everybody. Like with the teammates, people will tow their teammates to kind of,
I think that should be outlawed.
Oh, at all? No towing at all?
No towing, because it's just dangerous. And then what happens is, what if everybody starts it? Then we'll have total chaos.
I feel like you can do it. I feel like you can do it with a teammate, but you can't do it with whoever. It seems like they wait on the fastest rider to do it, the total fastest rider. You said
what happens if everybody starts doing it with a teammate? They'll have shit and fur fly everywhere, and it's dangerous. We'll have somebody getting screwed up, busted up.
Well, look, there's a fine line between towing and pace setting.
Yeah, that's the tough part. That's the tough part of judging. You gotta give them a fine.
Yeah, like if you're close enough to be able to react to someone running wide or this, that, and the other, that's fine. But if you're not, and like you're literally millimeters from the rear tire, if that person even has a bobble through the corner, you're going straight into them, and you're going to cause an accident. Jody, yes, I know it's motorbike racing and the big boys, but still, it's just dangerous. Now, look, then there's the other side of the coin.
I was gonna say they do it in racing. When they race, they.
But that's fine. That's position, right? Yeah. So I mean, that's position in a race where you can't get away with it. Where you're in a
qualifying,
where technically it's not a race. You're supposed to go out there and set your fastest time, which is fine. But you're, but again, look, it's just you're trying to avoid it, and realistically, we will never see it in a race zone where they're, I would say, like they're battling for a position. Like the guy that's towing is being towed. Is not actually trying to pass. Do you know what I mean? He's trying just to get the benefit out of someone that is faster than he was going. Do you know what I mean? That's the only reason that he's towing, is that he's trying to find an advantage by staying behind him. Now, saying that, if he's 6 or 7 tenths off his rear tire, right, he probably has a lot more benefit, right? Because when he does come out onto this straight, he'll pick up 2 or 3 tenths just from the slipstream. Whereas if he's too close to him, he's not going to gather that.
It's just, and then the two it was so bad, whatever year that was, that they would just wait. When they waiting, they would drop riding around real slow, waiting on.
Yes,
that's ridiculous.
Well, that's what that was for towing.
You shouldn't have to wait and slow down for somebody to pass you or whatever to get a good time. Like you should if you go out the same time as that person and you fall, I don't know. I think it's
the same thing though. Like I used to do it all the time in go-kart racing. Like if a fella was up my arse or whatnot or trying to tow, I'd brake test him. Do you know? Let him fucking hit me. Then fucking be waving my hands at the fucking stewards going, what the fuck is this prick doing? Like, do you know what I mean? You know, and it's often ended up in punches, like do you know what I mean? After, like, you know, at the end of the day, or like, you know, he was definitely getting T-boned in the next fucking race. Like, do you know what I mean? 100%. Like, oops, sorry, I was pressing the brakes, but it didn't work. They can't fucking prove you didn't. But you know, look, it's one of those things. I think, look, I have no problem with someone using a marker. I have very much so a problem with someone within a tenth of someone consistently in a lap trying to push them. I get it. If it was down to a world championship weekend, 100% every single lap that my rival was out on that course, I would be up his fucking gearbox. But that's a different thing then. That's fucking mind games and pressure. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the other way around. Is I'm trying to go faster because I can't go faster.
But by the way, you know what shocked me? By the way, just off the thing, Pecco was down in 19th.
That doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't shock me.
It doesn't. It didn't shock me. Yeah, it did shock me because it was so far down. Even if he's testing, you would think they'd have a test where he's going to do a hot lap to see how everything pans out.
So, what was his lap time?
That I didn't. Didn't check.
I'll tell you. It's okay. It's okay. I have all of these things saved. It's fine. 137.4.
Okay.
Now let's look at results.
Yeah, Mark is at the top. Why is Mark at the top and the other guy?
Yeah, but it's again like it's a test. Do you know what I mean? Don't be. You're looking at.
I always take tests with a grain of salt, but the difference was so fast.
That's a big difference.
One's in first place, one's in 19th, and I'm going 19th. Oh my Christ!
Okay, so Alex Marquez fastest race lap on the Sunday was 37.3. The rest of the times he was mid to high. So Pecco was working on race pace compared to what Alex Marquez was doing. Yeah, race pace. Let's have a look at Mark. Mark Marquez 12. Mark was in the 37s. Mark did a 37.5 as his fastest, and the rest of his laps, except for the last 37.5 was his fastest lap, and he did at lap 18.
Well, and what was Bagnaia's fastest lap
during the race?
Yeah,
during the race, Pecco's fastest lap was 37.4, and in the test, he was 37.4. So he was just doing race pace testing.
So you're saying he was no, because Mark Marquez was on top. It was almost 19th, and then Pecco was 19th, so he had to be going faster than 37.5.
No, Jake, come on now.
I must be hearing something wrong here. Obviously.
Yeah. So I was quoting first. I quoted Pecco's lap time in the test. Mm-hmm. Then I quoted Mark, Alex, and Pecco's lap time in the race the day before. Okay. So then I know that Pecco was doing race pace rather than going out and going fastest lap.
What was Marquez's best lap time at Jerez?
Marquez's lap time was 35.8.
There you go. That's what I was like. I was all thrown off. I didn't hear the 35.8.
No, I didn't say Mark's time in the test. I only said Pecco's because we were talking about Pecco's. Yeah, so Mark did a 35.8.
My old age has caught up to me.
Yeah. No, Mark did a lap time that was 1.5 seconds faster than Pecco's. Yes, in the test, but that is, I think that's a low fuel, sticky new tires run off you go. Whereas Pecco was like, I'm working on consistently on race pace, and that's
the real time. The race pace is the real time.
Right.
Race pace is real time. Yeah. Now look, Mark, don't get me wrong. Before the anorex went, right. At the end of the day, all I'm looking at is the race pace, right? Mark obviously did a fast lap, and going by the average race lap time performance, Pecco is in race pace performance, not whatchamacallit. And the fastest lap on the Sunday was at 37.3, which was Alex Marquez. So there we have it. And if other people want to just know, Bagnaia was 37.4 and Mark was 37.5. That was the fastest race lap speed, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't count that. I don't count that because that's in a slipstream. That's like,
no, look, that's fine. Like it's like when you look at it, right? That's Q2 I want to look at. What was the race time, lap times at Q2? Fabio Quartararo did a 35.6 in qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Mark's lap time isn't fucking record setting or fuck all, right? He did a 35.6 on qualifying, Mark himself, and Pecco did a 35.7. Okay, so just before people are like, oh, you blew him away. He didn't. There's a difference between a low fuel qualifying lap and things. So some people are just trying to take headlines. Other people were sticking to their tests.
I would love to see Quartararo on a competitive bike up against Marquez, because Quartararo's riding the wheels off of that bike.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, I coined a phrase a few years ago that it wasn't Yamaha won the championship; it was Quartararo won the championship for Yamaha on the bike.
And he definitely did coin that. Nobody said it before you.
So for me, what I look at is like, yes, Fabio, it would be great to see him on something competitive, but I think the Yamaha will come around in time. Now, whether it will be this year, next year, I don't know. I do think he has a good chance in Le Mans. If I'm honest, the Yamaha does go well there. There's not too many slow, long acceleration corners.
The weather is always bad there,
which helps the inline four.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it just depends on Mark and them. The other thing that I was looking at last year, right at this, I was looking at something. I can't remember where I saw it, but this time last year, if let's just rewind and put Jorge Martin in on the championship, right? On the Ducati last year, Martin would have been third in the championship. Do you remember we were just saying, for comparisons, we were saying there ages ago, Martin got off to a great start to the season last year, right?
Right.
And everyone then is all fucking sparkles about how well the Marquezes are doing, right? There's only 10 points in the difference in what Jorge Martin did last year on the Ducati,
right,
than what the Marquez lads are doing. So I personally thought it was fascinating to see. And then when you're looking at the likes of Pecco, who was only fucking 11 points behind. Is it 11 points? 12 points behind that? Do you know what I mean? That's how fucking close we are. So he's
not actually done bad compared to the up until this point, comparing him to other years.
Yeah. I don't think he's doing bad. I think there's just Marquez and Alex are just, they're doing better this year than last year. So
it's hard for me to fathom that somebody all of a sudden got that much better. When I'm talking about Alex Marquez, all of a sudden.
I think it just really shows that thing that we were talking about. Like Enea Bastianini is a prime example of it, right? Like you and Alex Marquez. Sometimes you get on a bike and you just click.
Mm-hmm.
Just go fast. Sometimes you get on a bike and you're just like, this fucking thing doesn't suit me at all.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. And you know, it's like an ugly girlfriend. Like you try to love her,
but it ain't happened.
She might be great everywhere else and filthiest thing you could ever think of,
right?
But you just mightn't love her. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same with a bike, you know. And you can kind of understand why people stick to a brand. Then, do you know what I mean? Because the inherent traits that you learn and understand and like, you know, it's comfort or it's not having to readapt. Some people are like that. Some people are not. You know, it is one of those things. But for me, when I look at it, you know, I do find things like that interesting. Like this season, we've only seen 10 points scored more than last season. Do you know what I mean? So I just thought it was an interesting fact to just kind of bring us back into a little bit of reality. But saying that, I must admire Alex Marquez's. I think he's a very strong mind. So very, very strong. Probably because he's been battered by his brother so much.
Yeah.
And he's never quit. Do you know what I mean? Does that make him more headstrong than Mark in tight and risky situations, just to say? Do you know, it's just one of those things that I've been looking at. And
I don't think he doesn't have the skills of his brother. So what do you do when you don't have skill? You have to have will.
Yeah.
You know, will over skill. So
there's a very famous saying out there. Well, there's two very famous sayings, right? Hard work beats talent, which it does, and knowledge and wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Knowledge is knowing a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing you don't put it in a fruit salad.
No, that's deep.
Max Magic there, no kid.
I'm going for Alex to win this whole thing. I think he's always showed the promise, but he's more consistent. I'm going with consistency versus just raw skill.
Hey, you called on the last race when no one else did.
Yeah, no, I think I think it's going to be a major test for him to try and do this, but he's now become infinitely more dangerous.
Yep.
Well, he's a contender. Yeah. Now you don't you used to dismiss him for the fact of is he going to win? No one ever thought is he going to win or is he going to be? You didn't even think about him being on the podium.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. You didn't think he was going to be on the podium. How many people called him third? Never.
Yeah, but it's that thing, right? And it's very, very hard to describe in your like when you try to cross the line. It's that thing in your head, right? When and like this happened to me like for racing, right? So like every time you'd move a class or whatnot, right? You start from zero again, right? And yeah, you were a champion in this class and you were good and whatnot, but then you got into and they're a little bit rougher and tougher and older and smarter and better racecraft and no fear and a little bit faster and first of all, then you start fighting with the top 3 or top 4, and you figure out you think it's faster, but you're actually going slower, and all of this stuff. and then you actually win. And when you go through that win, and you're one second now, I'm no longer a contender. I'm an equal. Do you know what I mean? And that's just a little switch that goes off in your mind. The next minute, instead of being a little bit afraid or scared of these guys, or in awe, right, of what they do, you're now going, well, I can beat you on a level playing ground. I can, I know what I can do, and I trust my abilities. And no matter how good you are, you always feel that you compare yourselves against this. You would, like, the minute you hear a racing driver say, "Oh, this fella is faster than me," and be serious about it, he's done. He's cooked. He's fucking over. Do you know what I mean? Good night, Irene. See you later. Whereas you have to have that inner belief. And next minute, you don't fully believe it because they're beating you. And next minute, when you start to beat them or start putting them under serious pressure, like, I've got this. And there's just a different switch, and there's a different swagger and all of this. And I think it will be very funny to watch the relationship of the two brothers, should it go down to a tight battle in the championship.
Yeah. Because
Marquez has always been very, very smiley and punchy and happy and jokey and whatever, right? Fucking now very different if the person across their dinner table on Christmas Day just whooped your ass. You know what I mean?
Where it's coming down to the next race is the title. It decides the title, and you're sitting there having dinner with them. I thought that they moved away from each other, and somebody said no, they're still in the same living room.
They are. But you see, what's happened in their relationship now is that
that's weird.
They have the wags, right? The wives and girlfriends or whatever, the fiancés or whatever it is there, and sure, kids will come along too, right? And sure, then they're going to be going their separate ways, right? And that just naturally happens, right? So they're no longer bachelors, let's just call it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I think
family men.
Well, no, it's like, I'm sure the girlfriend is happy to live in the house while they're dating and all of this, but when they get married, she's going to want her own calf and all of this fucking shit.
God,
and that natural divide is going to come in. Like, I don't talk to my brother every day, when I see him, I talk to him. Do you know what I mean? That's just the way it fucking is.
That's how it goes.
I remember when Marquez first remember he's gotten engaged a couple times, if I'm not mistaken. I know at least once other time. It's not the same girl.
I don't. No.
Yeah, he was engaged to another chick before, right? And it had a documentary on their in the place. And I'm sitting there, and they're talking to each other, and they're in the same room. The brothers are in the same stinking room, and they're engaged. Yeah, what does he do? Say, "I'm getting laid tonight." Put a sock on the door. My fiance's coming over. That's just weird.
A top bunk.
Well,
top bunk. Yeah, you can't have them in the bottom here. Bump, bump, bump.
Yeah.
She's coming through.
But I will say I've never seen Alex Marquez beat his brother because his brother fell. He crashed out of the last race, so naturally he would win, right?
He beat him.
I know him. He's gonna say, yeah.
You crashed.
Oh, that's a beat. That's classified as
you crashed. You fell off. You fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I know.
I get what you're saying. He didn't beat him in a dogfight, but
I'm sorry. I got to go with CB on that one. He never beat him.
He did.
Yeah. He did, but to me, I want to see him actually dogfight and win the dogfight.
Yeah. If CB and I are jumping Joe in the ring, okay, and I hit him and he goes down to one knee and I come over, I smack him in the top of the head and they disqualify me, right? Did he beat me?
Yeah. He cheated.
Yeah, he did, but
Yeah, but no, he didn't.
Listen, lads. You can fucking go in all your neon or nuances and all of this, right? Who won the Spanish Grand Prix at Jerez?
He won it.
Alex Marquez. Mm-hmm. Who finished 12th? Marquez.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Game over. Right. Who finished second in the 1974 Olympic Games in the 100-meter sprint?
I have no idea.
Exactly. But we can look up who finished first, right? There's a winner, right? Doesn't matter if he didn't have his shoelaces tied, the other fella, or fucking whatever, right? You can come up with all your excuses. Someone crashed. You crashed, right? End of fucking story. You made a mistake. You crashed. You fucked up. Your brother was behind you. He passed you before you left that track crashing. Done.
Yeah.
Good night, Irene. Out the fucking door.
I'm sorry. Yeah. And I still say Mir backed into the title.
That's right. He did. He fucking backed into the title. But, you know, the very famous thing.
When he jumped on the bike, you could hear the beep, beep, beep. Yeah. You know.
I'll give that to him, though, because if you went off consistency, hey, that is what it is. But when I see Alex beat, like, I know he did win, but if I see him battle with him and win, this championship is over.
But you know what?
It is.
I can see him the way he's been riding now. I can see him if Mark has a bad day, that Alex will beat him.
Mark, I feel like Mark cracks under pressure. You put enough pressure on him, he will crack.
I said this a couple of weeks ago. Mark is very happy once Alex behind him.
Yeah.
If you put someone else behind Mark, he's not comfortable at all.
Just like Pecco.
In the early stages of the race, where he knows that he's vulnerable. He knows Alex won't try something fucking crazy on him. He knows the other lads will give it a go. You know what I mean? 100%. So,
he's a barrier. The brother is blocking.
What happened with didn't Bagnaia jump up, bang into Marquez and pass him?
No, they hit each other. It was the same piece of tarmac they were both aiming for. But again, that, in my view, has done a world of good for Pecco, because Pecco has gone toe to toe with him, and it's like, I'll fucking hit you if you want to fucking hit me.
He's not scared of it.
And
totally agree.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, when we look at it, what lap did Mark crash in thing? So lap 4. So lap 2, wasn't it?
He didn't crash that early, did he?
I think he did.
I was gonna say, I can look it up too. Let me see.
Yeah, so the start of lap 3, it was the start of lap 3 was Fabio, Pecco, Alex, and the start of lap 2 was Fabio, Pecco, Mark, Alex. So it was only 2 laps into the race when he crashed.
Jeez.
So, and Alex was behind him. Yeah, just give me 1 sec there. 1 sec. Talk away.
No, that's my prediction here. If he can beat his brother to the end of the race, they both go to the end, and Alex wins, I think he has this championship. If he continues to be consistent, he has this championship.
Yeah, he could. Then but only if Mark Marquez falters.
I think he will. I think the brother he's gonna crash again.
And I'm sorry. I think Bagnaia, if he hasn't turned his shit around by now, I don't think he's going to.
Yeah, he's keeps saying that, the front end this and the front end that, and the tank this and tank that.
I want to put this on record. I wish he was off the phone when he said this. When you're going down and you could see Pecco going down the straightaway, look at him. You can see his nose. Now, this is the front tire going like this.
It's moving.
Moving side to side like that. And I look at the other bikes and I don't see him. I don't see the other factory. I don't see Mark doing it. I don't see Alex is doing it. Take a look. I know you rewatch the race.
Yeah, I'll rewatch them. I'll rewatch it.
Take a look at it. It's like, whoa.
But he wanted that.
What he's saying.
But he wanted that. Remember, he said he can't feel it. So he wanted more feeling in the front, and more feeling means unstable. So
no. It's that you got that ass backwards.
Because I think of it like he like it's too stiff. He's saying when you say you can't feel it, I was thinking maybe too stiff. So you want to loosen it up a little bit so you can feel what's going on. But that means, you know, you go over that front end is going to be moving around a lot. So Mac is he's the engineer. He knows and he's on mute. Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, getting phone calls. So yeah, so
I was saying, Mac, I'd like to still too. When I see that, Pecco's been saying he can't feel the front, and I look at him, and I can give him one thing. As you're looking at Pecco going down the straightaway, like this is the front tire, right? You can see his going like this, right, back and forth. Where the other, where Mark Marquez isn't doing it, and Alex Marquez bike isn't doing it. They're smooth going over. His is shaking back and forth sideways. And I noticed that. So maybe there is something he's talking about. This is but I can't believe they couldn't straighten that out. You know?
See, like feel is something very weird to straighten out, right? Because it's particular to everyone, right?
Yeah, but why is that wheel going, the front tire going side to side?
Is it the tire or is it the mudguard? Like
no, the tire. I'm looking at the tire.
You can get fooled by the mudguard very easily.
No. I
personally haven't seen it. So, but look,
take a look at it. You got to look at it. It's not so bad that you go, oh shit, you know. But you can see it.
Yeah. Look, there is also problems with Pecco, lads, and like we'll be very straight in this as well. Like, you know, it is in his head that there's something wrong with the front of that bike, right? Now,
it's still
right, and you have like too well. Yeah, Mark. Even Mark, I think Mark even came out with a comment of it that it's too stable. So it means you don't know when you're at the edge. Then so. Yeah, I think it was Mark said the front end was either Mark or Alex said the front end is too stable. So you don't really know when you're right at the edge of it. And then you crash. So
I forget, you're right. Somebody said that. I forget who it is.
So like if you soften it off, you're going to lose massive performance under braking. Do you know what I mean? If you stiffen it up, you're going to lose feel, do you know what I mean, at some point during the turning phase of the corners. So it's that balance, and that's what I think for Pecco. It's in his head. It is in his head. Do you know what I mean? That what he's doing, it's just one of those things that he's focused on the problem rather than focusing on riding around the problem. Mark Marquez has had to ride around problems 90% of his career in MotoGP. He was on a Honda. He had to.
That says it all right there.
You know? So for me, when I look at it, the adaptation from Marquez has been absolutely excellent. The GP23 wasn't the best or nicest bike to ride. You saw that with the fellas that got off at 22 struggled.
Alex won though. He still won. He won on the 23, right?
Yeah.
So
he's saying it's the 23 CB. The 23 wasn't as good as the other
as the 24. And like you remember this then the guys that rode a 24 that rode a 22 is only Alex Marquez, and Alex Marquez has taken a duck to water, and they've always said the 24 handled like the 22.
Yeah,
that's good.
So like for me, it does explain Alex Marquez's resurgence to the front. Do you know what I mean? Because now where they went wrong with the GP23, they corrected it in the 24, and they made it like the 22.
I thought that something at the 25 that they're saying has all kind of problems.
The 25 then has a field problem, and Marcus said that it has a field problem. Also, then it has the new electronics and the lower ride height system as well within it, and that's causing a massive amount of issues. Also, they have a system in it that's pushing the rear of the bike down in the braking zone. So if you just watch how they're coming into the corner, you will actually see the rear wheel being pushed down. And I think that's causing an awful lot of issues as well on corner entry. Just what I've seen from looking at it.
You know what that is?
It just feels
that's a loophole for taking away ride height.
What?
If you have something pushing the back end down, coming in.
No. It's going the opposite. It's going the opposite way. So it's lifting the rear of it up.
It's lifting the rear up. You're saying?
No. So it lifts the rear of the bike, as in the tail unit, up, but pushes the tire down.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's trying to keep the contact of the rear tire on the ground rather than having the bike pivot around the headstock under braking. It's a fascinating thing. It's gone though. It's gone. So it's part of the ride height system.
Oh, it is part of it. Damn it.
Yeah. That's
going to rue the day that they got rid of ride height and you wait in the aerodynamics. Hopefully, Liberty Smart back on again.
If they're all running the same type, or I think they'll all be going into the corner at the same speed anyway. And like I put it this way, yes, 100%. The more aero you put on, the faster you're going to travel through that corner. 100%, fully agree with it. But if you reduce it, it's up to the rider to figure out how fast can he go through the corner. Like if you go, it's like putting, the IndyCar in America, yeah, and where they race on the ovals in the car, right? It's like putting an oval. Yeah. It's like putting the aerodynamics for an oval car on their street car when they're racing around Detroit or fucking thing. If they put those aero on it, right, and try and turn into a corner like they would with the full aero on, they're going to crash. And the riders are going to have to figure that out very fucking fast. I can't go in here at 120 mile an hour. I have to go in here at 90. That's it. That's all it's going to do. Do you know what I mean? They're still going to ride as fast as they can fucking ride, 100%. No doubt there in it. They're going to be balls to the wall, flat out, regardless of what size engine, what aero, what thing. The best riders will come to the top with their machines.
Yeah. Yes.
And before anyone said, no, I don't agree with the reduction of the engine size and the aero in the way of the way they're doing it. But it is what it is. It's been signed off. We can do absolutely fuck all about it. So move on with our lives.
Bastards.
It is what it is.
And I think that's the perfect.
You need to run for the FIM, Mac. Come on. You and me, we'll run as a team and run the FIM.
I think, Jake, they will definitely bring us over to their Congress to plead our case.
I know how to do it.
But we're
be happy. We'll just have a European MotoGP and a Japanese MotoGP, right? No concessions because nobody's going to care. All right. The Europeans can have the bikes go faster and faster and have all the tech. Okay. The Japanese, they're not going to lose face because what we'll do is we'll make the European tracks a little longer, so it makes it look like they're going the same speed, right? And they'll have passing because now the Japanese can pass each other.
Jake, you're being very optimistic, to be very honest. Right? You and I both know that if we go into a same room with Dorna, we ain't walking out alive.
Damn straight.
Yeah, we will. We're not going out alive. That's it. We will just disappear. So that's it. If we
ever go to Japan, there'll be ninjas waiting for us.
Say Honda. You just stay away from Honda. Steer clear.
Steer clear. Yeah. No, look, it is a. I think in the next few years, I think we will start to see some common sense. But then saying that, Liberty Media Group, which owns the Formula One management team, and the FIA don't get along, right? So what I can see this happening with the FIM and them also. So there'll be a bit of a argy-bargy there, like there was never before with Like even when Bernie was there, he used to have battles with the teams because he had the contract with the teams, but he never had a battle with the FIA. Right? They were in cahoots together. Whereas now the FIA and
Dorna.
The FIM and Dorna, they're in cahoots together. You scratch my back, I scratch yours, sort of deal. That will change, I think, when Liberty come in. Do you know what I mean? Because Liberty will be trying to take the power, and remember, but remember this, right? When you look at when you look at the name of the championship, it is not the Dorna Sports MotoGP World Championship.
I know.
Right. It is the FIM.
Yeah, right.
Right. And what will happen, and like what used to happen with Bernie and the FIA, was that it was in cahoots in the partnership together, right? Scratching each other's back. And it currently is the same way with Dorna and the FIM. But Liberty came into Formula One and were pushing their weight around and this, that, and the other, and it rubbed people in the FIA up the wrong way. And the FIA rubbed the Formula One management team the wrong way as well. And then it became a geopolitical fucking issue.
Yeah.
And you saw what happened when Andretti tried to get into Formula One. Yes, they did get into Formula One eventually, but they had to get rid of all of the Andretti branding and name and everything with it.
That's crazy.
Well, it is and it's not. Like, you know, it is because Formula One wanted a manufacturer. And remember, Andretti Formula One would do more for the Andretti brand than the Formula One brand. Did you get me? And they didn't want to give away that power. So that's
I just heard that the
just to go back a little, but just to tell you a little bit of this, where that whole problem started was the relationship between the FIA and the FOM. Okay, Formula One management team and the FIA approved them, which was trying to force the hand of the FOM. Does that make sense?
Right.
And then that's how the argument really started. Anyway, what was that?
I just found out that I was watching World Superbike that BMW had concessions, right? They win for 1 year and then they took them away. And I'm going, they're so crooked. If Yamaha had got that or Honda had got, well, Honda's never had a penalty at all. Okay, they've never had where everybody got a penalty. They didn't get one. They've yet to get one single penalty.
Yeah, but look, they got concessions. To be fair,
right? Yeah, and they got the concessions. But if that was
no, they got the stupidest fucking concessions now, Jake. To be fair, you know why they got the concessions? Because their bikes are built around Dunlop tires, not Pirelli tires. That's
okay. But doesn't everybody have to deal with that?
Nope. You buy a Ducati, it always comes.
Ducati. That's right. They do.
So it's developed on Pirelli tires.
Yeah. Still, I mean,
like who is the cute fucker in Honda that came up with that and actually got it to fucking stick?
Yeah.
you have to like tip your fucking hat to and say, yes, it's corrupt, but it's fucking brilliant, man. Fair play to you. Like,
what an excuse? Yeah, that's a hell of an excuse. You know what I mean? Like, but if that was, say, it was Yamaha who got the concessions, right, and won that 1 year, they would never pull it away from them. It's really this Japanese have to win at all costs is gotten ridiculous.
Well, it's not Japanese, Honda.
And Honda especially, yeah.
It's Honda, definitely Honda.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's interesting.
Right, Mac. It's like or CB. You figure if you're going to be corrupt, can you at least con me a little bit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but look, I think what the second Superbike race is on now or just over. And look, if Bulaga wins again, right, the Ducati are going to get another fuel flow restriction. Yeah,
it's bullshit. It's like how would you like every time you build something better, somebody knocks you down for it.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, well, that doesn't make it right. I mean,
no, that's definitely not right. Yeah, but You got to win more. You got to win better. I don't know.
That's why it gives me a warm feeling when I know that the Japanese, well, especially Honda, their sales are going to shit.
Mm-hmm. They're not doing anything with the bikes. They're just
they're dull.
Yeah, they're doing the same bike every year, and they throw a different color on it, and then say, "This is the new improved." It's like, no, it's just a different colorway, livery.
The CBRRR price it costs as much as the Ducati. You have to be 5'6" to ride it, and
it's the same bike.
Massive overheating problem that blows up, and everybody's looking the other way.
Yeah, it's the same bike. It's not anything different.
How many recalls have they had the bike? They had them on the ECU, those melting the oil cores, the shocks were blowing out, and all kind. Let's like your arm.
It's the same as the R9.
Not that one, huh?
Same as the R9. It's just the R6. It's the same.
What, the R6? The R6 had tranny problems.
I'm saying like this new R9 is not really the regular. It's nothing special about it.
Oh no! Then I love triples. You know what I mean? I love triples.
Yeah, I do too. I love the Triumph. Triumph does an excellent job.
Oh man, I just fucking I don't know. I just can't stick the sound of them. Well, sorry, the sound is nice.
Hold on, you have a 3-cylinder. I mean,
No, he has a 4-cylinder.
4-cylinder.
Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, man, you need a 3-cylinder.
Yeah,
They're nice though. They have Mac. They have the torque and.
Oh, I know. Listen,
they're probably lighter too.
You might lose some top end hair hardly.
There was a dealer in about 2 months ago. I was having a look at an F3 inside in the dealership here. They're lovely sound. Don't get me wrong. They're lovely, but I don't know.
You saw an F3? Oh, you would. He would be phenomenal on an F3.
But I don't know.
That's the F3. He would just go ape shit on that.
It was just. So like we took it out and around the block. I don't know. Look, I just love the screaming inline 4. I just do.
There's nothing wrong. I like the sound of it too. But
especially a R6.
Yeah, especially an R6.
Yeah.
R6.
And he got the last of the good R6. He got the last of the good models, Japanese models. Yeah, before the shit hit the fan.
Yeah, it's
before the economic crush.
Yeah, and like a full British Super Sport tune, and the BMC air filter and straight through Acras and all of that really good stuff. Always makes it a little bit more exciting. So CB, who's your winner in Le Mans? Since you called it right last time, so up your first.
Yeah, I'm going Alex, and then I'm going Fabio, and then Mark. No, I'm going Alex, Mark, Fabio. That's my top 3.
I'm gonna go Mark, and then Fabio, and then Alex. And then I'll go a 4th just to be thing. I'll go after that. I'll go Pecco.
Yeah,
Pecco. God, I can't. That's such a letdown. I was looking for the biggest letdown was Aprilia with Martin, but he's never coming back this year.
He'll be back. He'll be back. He won't be back. I'm going to go Mark, Alex, Pecco, and then I'm going to go Pecco, Fabio, Mark.
Wow, Pecco is not a.
I think he has to win one.
You think he's going to win one? The main is going to be Pecco, Fabio, Mark. Yeah, he has a better. Don't he's going to have a better
Fabio
chance
Mark
with he would have. Fabio would have a better chance at a sprint, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, but I think he did. I think he did a really good race on the Saturday as well, or Sunday as well. I know it doesn't look like it, but remember, there's no real straights here.
Yeah.
Like the front straight is a curve. You know what I mean?
This
so
this isn't a Ducati track.
Like okay, it is for one definite section is, but the rest of it is not. Do you know what I mean? Like there's only one slowish really slow right hand corner, which is the last corner, and you do go up to fourth to fifth gear. So it is like Jerez, but they're not going to get the gallop like the back straight in Jerez going. Do you know what I mean? So I think Fabio will have more chance. It's also his home Grand Prix, so I think there'll be a little bit more piss and vinegar in him all weekend rather than, I think so.
I think we're going to see something crazy from Zarco. Zarco is going to maybe a podium on a sprint.
I don't know.
I think we'll see a podium on the sprint from Zarco.
Pretty good stretch, but something can happen. How's the tarmac at Le Mans?
Black.
That's bad. It sounds bad.
I remember one year it was just absolutely hard. You could only go 7 at 7 laps. The tires were gone.
I don't remember that. I remember that in Australia. A couple
years ago, I think it was 2021. They just put new tarmac down in 2021, and it was green, and it was cheap. They said they used cheap tarmac, and it was chewing right straight through tires.
They should have a lot of grip there. They have that Le Mans every year. I know it's not. I know it's not.
Guys, might be the surprise of Le Mans, KTM, because they're so powerful.
I was going to say that too.
I don't think the engine though is going to matter around Le Mans.
When you think it would, but now I would think it would because of the horsepower on the short straight would make it fly. You know what I mean?
They need grip.
Yeah, but like they're not getting up high enough in the gearbox. They're not getting high enough in the gearbox to make that difference. Like I think the engine will make a much bigger difference for them in Silverstone rather than in Le Mans. Personally, that's what I believe, because there is high speed corners and then long straights. Whereas I just don't see it in Le Mans. I don't see the bike getting up high enough in the revs, in what I mean through the gearboxes, for it to make
enough power.
Well, no, just enough difference. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I would think it would be night and day between here and Silverstone. You know, like I think KTM's will have a good opportunity with the long straights in Silverstone, especially against the likes of the Yamahas and the Aprilias.
I would think the raw horsepower would make them more of a drag bike, effect.
Yeah, but it's not long enough though. You know, it's not long enough. Like,
I don't think it's long enough.
I think they're all pretty equal up to third, fourth gear, and then you see it with the Aprilias and with the Ducatis and the KTMs, they'll stretch then. Whereas I just don't see the where they like coming out of Le Mans, they probably come out second gear, third gear, fourth gear, maybe touch off fifth before going through that corner, and then it's like on the brakes. So, and I don't think there's any majorly long straight then after. So I think it'll be interesting, but it will be also interesting to watch how Mav does on the KTM. See, can he be the consistent Maverick? Like I would like to see Maverick consistently in around the 6th or 7th place. That would say, okay, he's fucking getting there,
Yeah.
But yeah, I really genuinely worry for KTM, even though that they're in 3rd place in the championship. So yeah.
Yeah, that's my 2 wild cards.
But KTM, they have home problems out the wazoo.
Oh, they do? Yeah. Look, we know that. Yeah.
It'll be really strange if KTM, the company, shuts down and then this race team keeps going. Because the budget's already been paid.
Yeah. Well, I wonder on that, Jake, right? The way they say the budget has been paid, the budget has already been approved, but it's probably been paid monthly.
Yeah, true.
So when it shuts down, or like let's just say if something happened, you know yourself, it would just be like boom, they would shut up overnight. Like, do you know what I mean? They wouldn't have money to make month end, like sort of thing, or they would have the money to make month end, but not the following month.
Yeah, when they had the 530 million they got to come up with, people forgot they have to come up with that by May. What the hell, in a week or something. This week, you know what I mean? Or 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, they had to make the commitment to paying, which they probably look. And now, to be fair, right, they probably have raised that money from the investors, right, already, so they're comfortable. Look,
I don't know if they have.
No, they had to. They would have had to have committed that much money and it being paid by that date. So realistically, they couldn't even commit to that unless they did start. They did start production, and they had to stop production again due to for some reason as well on bikes. So
they know where to put them. The unsold bikes.
Yeah, it's not being. It's not
like they have a model that's selling well, or a new model is something that's with pizzazz. You know, like, oh, this thing's gonna do great. You know, they know what they're gonna sell, and it doesn't look good.
Yeah. They have an idea of it. And look, I think we'll see that they'll shrink back down to the size that they probably were before getting into MotoGP and all of this racing. I get it that you know their history of trials bikes and all of this. That's the field they should have stayed in, and motocross. You know, going into road racing, but you don't really have a road bike.
Yeah.
It doesn't really make sense, you know. So, but look, anyway, I suppose on that bombshell, we'll wrap it up there. Le Mans this weekend, or next weekend coming. Pretty excited.
It varied greatly, actually. Pretty good. We all made our picks, which vary. So one of us will win.
Yeah, well, I'm just not going to be like you lads. You know what I mean? I'm Irish and better looking.
We're going to see. We're going to see.
Yeah, it's a sunny day in Ireland, lads. You know, so.
Oh, it's a mucky ass day here.
Yeah, sunny day in Ireland. So, a couple of beers.
Oh, and I got a whole new body set for the F4.
Nice.
So you can crash it when you get it.
I'm not going to crash it, man.
All you're gonna hear is I'm gonna be gone, and he's gonna come on here and go, "Oh my God, his hair's gonna be pinned back." You know, like, "Oh my God, it's so fast."
It would be all right. We'll take Jake to the TT, and on that bombshell, we'll wrap it up, and we will, and we'll catch everyone next week. Have a good one.
Peace out.